Today on the net, the boss of Twitter UK says sorry to female victims of online abuse. Web users call for a boycott of the Sochi Winter Olympics. And a two-headed turtle becomes a web sensation. The abuse they've received is simply not acceptable. It's not acceptable in the real world, and it's not acceptable on Twitter. On Saturday, the boss of Twitter UK, Tony Wang, said sorry to women who have been threatened or insulted on the social network. The British police are currently investigating 8 allegations of abuse via social media. One of the complaints was lodged by feminist campaigner and blogger Caroline Criado Perez, who fought for the face of novelist Jane Austen to appear on £10 banknotes. When her campaign came to a successful conclusion, she received a deluge of rape and death threats on the microblogging site. But the blogger refused to be intimidated by the abuse, and she challenged Twitter to face up to its responsibilities, denouncing its procedures for reporting abusive content, saying they were too slow and too complex. An opinion shared by the some 125,000 web users who signed this online petition, calling on the social network to take action towards preventing and tackling abuse more efficiently, notably by simplifying the system for reporting these cyber threats and malicious content. And it would seem Twitter has taken the request on board. The microblogging site has announced the in-tweet report abuse button, which is currently only available on its app for one mobile phone brand, is to be added to the Twitter website and to platforms used on other mobile devices. Russian Sports Minister Vitaly Mutko has confirmed that athletes coming to Russia to compete in the 2014 Winter Olympic Games must adhere to the country's strict laws on homosexuality throughout the duration of the competition, saying, quote, "No one is forbidding a sportsman with a non-traditional sexual orientation from coming to Sochi, but if he goes onto the street and starts propagandizing it, then of course he will be held accountable." His words have sparked anger and outrage across the web. For many social networkers, his warning violates the spirit of the Olympics and is quite simply unacceptable. Web users have slammed the stance and are calling on the IOC to exert more pressure on Moscow so that gay athletes and tourists can concentrate on or enjoy the games without fear of arrest or deportation. Some are even calling for an actual boycott of the games. Radical measures which they believe could prompt the Russian government to rethink the homophobic legislation currently in force. Not everyone thinks this is the best move, however, like John Carlos, for example, who's probably best known for standing on the medals podium at the 1968 Olympic Games, alongside fellow African-American Tommy Smith, with their gloved fists in the air as a silent protest against racial discrimination in the US. The former champion thinks athletes, and particularly gay athletes, should attend the Russian Games so their voices can be heard and they can perhaps contribute to change. Patrick Burke expresses a similar sentiment in this article posted to the site BuzzFeed, where he says history remembers the athletes who showed up. What would Wi-Fi signals look like if you could see them? Nikolai Lamb has explored this very question on the site mydeals.com. The American artist teamed up with a former NASA scientist to produce these visualizations of Wi-Fi around Washington. The illustrations are based on scientific data and show the shapes formed by the signals, with the sub-channels used to transmit data displayed in different colors. A two-headed turtle has become an online sensation in the US. Named Thelma and Louise, the animal that lives at San Antonio Zoo in Texas now has its own Facebook page with over 4,200 fans. An amazing little creature whose popularity looks set to stay. NASA's Rover Curiosity landed on Mars in August 2012. And the American Space Agency has put together this clip showcasing 12 months on the red planet in 2 minutes. The video, which features 548 black and white shots taken by the robot showing it collecting samples of Martian soil and sand, for example, will no doubt be a massive hit with space exploration enthusiasts everywhere.